Right. Good evening. Here we are. It is Sunday. I hope everybody is doing well. A little overcast, rainy today here at the homestead. Bees are going through about a jar a day right now. So I went out there earlier today than I did. Yeah, I went out yesterday afternoon, and so today I went out. What the heck was it? Right around 1:30, I think. And there was only like that much left in the jar. So I put the new jar in, and next jar's ready. So for tomorrow, I have that all ready for them. So, but yep, the Cheez-Its. I had the box was over here, so I said, well, I know everybody missed seeing the Cheez-Its, so I put them back. I was eating some of them yesterday, so I figured, well, let me put them back behind me. Okay, so before we jump into anything, I just want to remind everybody, family friendly oriented channel. Please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. Let's be kind to each other. Let's have a good chat, and we will go from there. So, okay, so before we start tonight, let me do this part because this is the way I remember. So, tonight will be the last night we're doing a giveaway, and that is going to be with the egg count, okay? And that is by R.E. Gold. It is the Pocket Guide to Finding Silver, okay? And it is also signed by him, all right? So, signed copy. That will be the giveaway when we do the egg count tonight. So, stick around for that and we will go from there. So, all right. So, anyway, next big thing, it is there is many number of things, but if you pay attention and you watch what's being done, it is not hard to figure out. So what is the next big thing? I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Well, there's a couple things going on, and then we're going to talk about this other part of it as well, because it is definitely relevant. But the first thing I definitely wanted to talk about was the World Health Organization is monitoring a new variant that is concerning. Okay, I don't know if you guys saw that in news. Again, you know, I just hey, Ed, this is Chris. Sorry for not emailing you, but I've been swamped. Should be finished soon. We'll be in touch. Thanks. Okay, no problem, man. No problem. I totally get it. I understand. I know how that goes. I definitely know how that goes. But anyway, so they're they like I said, I don't know the relevance of it. Is it another? So here would be the question, and this is just again. I always have questions. I always have questions. Is this the newest scare tactic? Right? Is this the newest thing that they're going to try to make everybody afraid of? I don't know. Not saying that they are. Not saying that they're not. But I find it interesting. I find it interesting. Um, you know, where they're going with this. And with the new things in place, but the new things in place with giving the World Health Organization more control over, what happens with a pandemic response. I don't know if you guys saw that instead of local governments being in charge of how a response is done in that country, they're trying to give the if I could speak, it would be great. The World Health Organization that control, and so they would basically dictate how things would be done in every country. And I don't know if Biden signed that or not. I heard that he had, so I can't say that he's done that. If somebody knows the answer to that, I would, yeah, allegedly, right, exactly. Um, so yeah, that's definitely something that ex NYC prepper. Thank you for becoming a beginner prepper. Appreciate that. Show of support. That is, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Um, all the support helps, guys. Anybody that wants to become a member, it definitely helps. Again, just a real quick heads up. Anybody that becomes a hardcore prepper, I do a live stream every Monday for my hardcore preppers. So that's kind of a private thing just for them. And it we have some people have been with me since the beginning of doing that, and it's like a little family. We get together on Mondays, small number, very personal, and they get information that everybody else doesn't get on the live stream. So it's fun. But anyway, just putting that out there. But anyway, so I don't know if they've already signed that off and given them that right. Um, Wishika says, I love the Monday show. Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate the support. I really do. Especially with the games that YouTube is playing. I guess Mary Greeley just came on and did a video about that. And she was like, it said that I've had no new subscribers in the last month. When she had 1,000 subscribers, but then she kept losing people. So when I told you that YouTube is doing this across the board, they're doing it across the board. So it's not like I've ever sat here and tried to cry that I'm a victim and oh poor me. They're doing it to everybody, and I still the House is drafting to not allow Biden to sign any authorization to the World Health Organization. Okay, thank you, JJ. Appreciate that. But yeah, he shouldn't. It shouldn't be his decision, okay, to sign our rights away as a country, and give it to an organization. Oh yeah, by who the way we hugely fund, and who is also largely funded. Can anybody tell me who is a huge contributor to the World Health Organization? You might know who this individual is that I'm speaking of, but he's a very big volunteer, not a volunteer, but a donor. Timothy, very, very smart individual. Yes, Bill Gates is a very large contributor to the World Health Organization. And I am sure that is it's just in the best interests of people, not something that would help him line his own pockets. I'm sure that has absolutely nothing to do with it. He's just very concerned about people, and that's just very commendable of him. Yeah, okay. So anyway, that's one of the things that's like jumping up right now. Yeah, allegedly, I love that. Yes, that is funny. So see, we can't be accused of false information when I'm not saying that you know he's doing this and this is his thought process. I don't know what his thought process is. I just know that he does do really, really well when it comes to certain things, and it's quite interesting. You know. Love his medical background, though. I think that that's great. Well, he's read some papers, guys. He's read some papers, so that makes him, he's very well versed. Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Anyway, another thing in the news. I don't know if you guys saw this. The U.S. has told China to back off from its harassment of Philippine ships. There is definitely we are in the beginning stages of this as China continues to build up their military, their navy, and that type of thing. They are trying to exert more of their influence, and so that again, that's why the Philippines came back to the table, have decided to embrace America because we are the one country that China at this point right now really doesn't want to screw with yet. Okay. I think it's a matter of time before we see something happen with that. So, uh, but yes, it is quite interesting, the games that are being played. We're in the process now of sending a nuclear sub, at least one, over to South Korea that's going to be stationed there. And it's kind of interesting, I think, Um, would that be used against South or North Korea, or would that be used against perhaps China if it needed to be? When chess pieces, it takes time to put chess pieces into place. Doesn't happen overnight. So you can't, you know, when you see a threat, you have to deal with that threat. You have to be ready to have that show of strength. When, and I think it's a matter of when, not if. China does make a move for Taiwan. Um, you know, I honestly believe I hope that we would, because we basically stated how many times that we would, and then the handlers had to backtrack and say, well, no, that's not what we're saying, but the reality is if China makes a move for Taiwan, it's in, I'll put it this way. It would be in the United States' best interest to support Taiwan, because if we don't stand behind them in that situation, that would show incredible weakness on our part, which we cannot have. Um, we've had too many too many snafus already. The Afghanistan retreat, that situation, and I love the fact that the White House would have the cojones to sit there and blame that on Trump. Well, it was his plan. Well, here just to put it out there. I mean, I know some of you are not military strategists, okay, but if I'm calling the shots on that, I don't let the enemy know what my game plan is. We will be completely out of the country by this date. Here's the date. Here's the window. So we're going to be gone. We're not going to be here anymore, right? You don't tell them. It's just me. If you're doing a withdrawal, the other part of doing a withdrawal, you don't leave all your weaponry behind. I mean, that's just me. That's how I would do it. I'm not the government, so I don't know. You don't leave, billions of dollars worth of equipment behind for somebody else to utilize, right? That you've considered an enemy that you've been fighting. That now, after a certain amount of time, you go, okay, we've been here for 20 years. We've made things better. Oh, look at us. We're champions of women's rights. We're so wonderful. Oh yeah, you oppressors that are going to take all those rights back away from the women. There you go. Go ahead. You can have it all back now. And wow, I was shocked. I will be honest with you, completely shocked to see things reverting to the way it was before when they took back over. I hope you guys are getting my sarcasm tonight, because it's pretty heavy and pretty thick. Hey, there's Philip. We were just talking about you the other day, my friend. We were wondering where you were. I hope you're doing well. Glad to have you in the house. That is my dear friend Philip from Melbourne, Australia. Good day, Philip. So, but anyway, it's amazing to me how when you have our government, and we're supposed to be the best in the world, and they put their head in their behind, and it's like, now you're going to blame it on somebody else because you screwed up. Well, if it was his plan, okay, so if this was Trump's plan, and we just followed Trump's plan. Well, wait a minute. When the day that he got into office, now correct me if I'm wrong on this, right? The day that he got into office, how many executive orders did he sign to reverse what Trump had done when Trump was in office? If I remember correctly, it was quite a few. So does that mean you go, well, he's got this genius plan for withdrawing from Afghanistan. So we're just going to stick with it. We're just going to stick with it, right? I mean, come on. And what, you're going to deflect blame? Somebody else's fault. It's not me. Sorry. Sorry for all the people that died. Not my fault. It's him. It's the guy. We're going to blame the orange man. Everything is his fault. No matter what happens, even though we're, well into my presidency, it's not my fault. It is amazing to me. Whatever happened, and this is just a question, whatever happened to personal responsibility? Whatever happened to that, right? I think that's interesting. I think, you know, I want you to think about this, and this is two things, and similar situations. In Afghanistan, we got a bunch of people out, but a lot of Americans were left behind in Afghanistan, right? A lot of Americans were left behind in Afghanistan. And we went, okay, that was the last plane. You're on your own. Good luck, right? Did we not do that? Yes or no? A lot of Americans were left behind. When they evacuated the embassy in Sudan, if you remember this correctly, see, because I pay attention to stuff. I'm watching, I'm listening. I let it absorb. I have to process things, and I find different things very interesting. So in Sudan, we evacuated the embassy, but of course we didn't leave any Americans behind, did we? Oh, yes we did. Yes we did. We left them behind. Good luck. Have a good time. Now I'm sorry, but we're supposed to be America. And I don't care if you like the reasons that people, Americans were in Sudan. I don't care if you like the reasons that Americans were in Afghanistan. You don't leave our people behind. You don't leave them behind. You get them out of there, right? These other countries, these other countries are getting their people out of Sudan. They're making sure that all of their people are out of Sudan. Why are we not doing that? Why are we not doing that? If these folks want to go over there and kill each other left, right, and center, hey, you know what I say? Have at it, enjoy yourself, have a good time, right? But we should not be just, oh, we're just going to get the embassy people out and screw the rest of you. It doesn't work that. It shouldn't. Let me rephrase that. It should not work that way. It should not work that way. And I have a problem with that. You know, when we have a government that is not taking care of the people, UK has left people behind too. Linda just said, okay, I did not hear that. I heard that they were working to get their people out, to be honest with you. That's what I heard. So, in the military, we don't leave our people behind. Okay? If somebody is killed in action, we do our very best to get them out of there, alive or dead. Okay? Alive or dead, we do our best to get them out of there. And so I have a real issue with leaving Americans behind in any situation, regardless if you agree or don't agree of why they should be there. You know what I mean? So I have a problem with that. I do. It's just it is amazing to me. What are we at? 525 in the chat, guys. We're 199 on the thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that ahead of time. Again, it really does make a big difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason as well. And again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications. You're going to have to check, guys. I had, again, just somebody the other day said, have you been posting? And I'm like, man, I post every day. So he's like, well, I'm not getting any notifications. So again, Ed, I'm a veteran from the Vietnam War, and we still have POWs still in camps. I don't know if they would still be there now, Tony, but I know that there was people still left behind there, that were captured that were never released. I had heard that. I don't, like I said, again, I can't say yes I know it's true or no I don't know it's true. But yes, I had heard that as well. I don't know if they would still be there now. A lot of them would be long gone at this point. There would be no reason to keep them anymore. So, but yeah, there's a lot that to be said. A lot of things happen. We try to put on this picture. Okay, I guess is I try to figure out the right way to say it. We try to put out this front that we do everything right. We never do anything wrong because we're America and we're here to help. When in the reality, at the end of the day, we want favorable governments in place around the world that are going to do what we want them to do. And if they don't do what we want them to do, we will, do, tariffs and blockades and I'm trying to think of the word. sanctions. We'll do sanctions on them, and we'll screw that country over. We've done it many, many times, and so I think that we do it to our own people, and look what we do to each other in the United States. Look what our government does to us here. You know what I mean? It's just it is amazing. It is amazing to me. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff that goes on that you never hear about. Uh, you know, Look at Jeffrey Epstein. Poor thing killed himself in prison while under heavy watch, right? With security cameras, but somehow cameras weren't working, security was asleep or whatever they were doing, and he was able to kill himself. It was amazing how that worked. But I guess if you kill yourself, then you can't speak and give away all the information that you have. It's an interesting concept. I'm not saying it's not how it happened. I wasn't there. I didn't see it, but it's amazing to me that the camera footage problems, broken cameras, what happens. But if it's a high, yeah, allegedly. Thank you, Don. She keeps reminding me, and I appreciate that. Yes, allegedly. Yeah, it's just if somebody, what also kills me is this. Hey, Reese, what's up, brother? Reese hasn't been in the chat very often, so glad to see you in the house. Hey, Troy, thank you very much for the donation. I do appreciate that. Very kind of you. Well, the other thing that I thought was interesting. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to this one. And I'm a question kind of guy, right? I am a question kind of guy. I like to ask questions. So SEAL Team 6 goes in and allegedly, I will use Dawn's word, kills Osama bin Laden, right? And because they cared so much, in Muslim tradition, in caring that they disposed of the body at sea, so there was no pictures. Um, I have a tendency to think if I was on the team that killed Osama bin Laden, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, right? Correct me if I'm wrong on this. Would you not want to say, hey, look it, here's Osama bin Laden's dead body. Let's do a selfie, Wouldn't you do that? Just to say, look it, we killed this a-hole. Wouldn't you do that? You would think. But those aren't out there. No, those aren't out there, right? I don't know. Just again, curiosity questions. So you got no body because it was disposed at sea because we're trying to be, we care so much about what the Muslim traditions are, right? Come on. Come on. So like I said, I have questions. I have questions. And then, a lot of those members of that team, they're all now gone, right? Right? They're all dead now. Isn't that interesting too? Osama's probably sitting in a beach in Miami. Yeah, shaved his beard off, gained a little weight, you know. But yeah, I just all of it is, you know, yeah, no proof of his death. Andrea said. Well, I'm not. See, I'm not saying that, Andrea. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, I always have questions. I find the explanations that we are given that we're supposed to just believe without any kind of questioning. I find those interesting. I find those interesting. But yeah. So that those are just you know, he's at Biden's beach house. Oh my God, that's too funny. You never know. You never know. He's playing craps in Vegas. That's right. Yep. Rolling the dice. I feel lucky. But it just my thing is this. Whatever we're fed, this is what you have to remember. Whatever information that we are fed by the powers that be, okay? Whoever's really running the show, because it sure ain't Biden, okay? Because in any other scenario, well, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say that he would be in a locked unit someplace with other people of his mental capacity. But that would be wrong to say something like that. So I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say, that he may not have all his marbles rolling around in his head, because that would be wrong to say that. I wouldn't say that. So, but whoever's really running the show, okay, the information that we are fed is the information that we're fed, period. End of story. It will never always be the whole truth. It may be a partial truth. It may be a complete lie altogether, but it's what they're going to feed us. With talking again, I'm going to go back to this conversation that I had with these guys from Ireland. Okay. And they were telling me, now they were on vacation for a month. I think I mentioned this. Me and Dave were at Outback Steakhouse, and these guys were there, and I could hear them talking. So I asked them, are you from Ireland? And they were like, yes. And the one guy goes, well, I'm from the UK. So it was like all of them were Irish except for the one guy who was from the UK. And he says, what's weird? And I go, what's that? He said, what we see on the news of America is not what America's like. So, they're being fed what their government wants them to see. In, so that way they develop feelings of a certain way that America is like this. Okay. When I did the motorcycle tour with the folks from the UK, you know, I had some great discussions with them because I like to get other people's perspective. I mean, you even go up to Canada. Canada's getting different news than we get here, right? I mean, they have an agenda just like America has an agenda, just like Mexico has an agenda, just like the UK has an agenda. Every country has that agenda, and they want to put out, it's realistically the propaganda that they want you to see. They want you to believe. And the sad part is that a majority of the people in this country are going to be hook, line, and sinker, believe whatever they're told. Whatever they're told, they're going to believe it hook, line, and sinker, and they're not going to question anything. They're not going to look into anything. They're not going to do any of their own research, because the minute that you do that, the minute that you say, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right, the minute you do that, now you're going to be labeled a conspiracy theorist. You're crazy. You're a misogynist, a xenophobe, whatever title that they want to put on you to shut you up so that you don't question those things, right? That's what they're going to do. And a lot of people will shut up at that point. They will be like, oh, I don't want to rock the boat. But I believe, you know, whatever I say, what anybody else says on YouTube, in the news media, whatever anybody says, do your homework, do your research, see if they're full of crap or if they're telling you the truth. I have no reason to lie to you. I'm not trying to gain anything. I'm not looking to be, I want to be a big, powerful, huge person. That has nothing to do with anything. Nothing to do with anything. So to me, it's like you should question everything. Don't believe everything at face value, because a lot of time it's full of crap and there's a bunch of holes. Um, you know, and again, you if you go back to anything, and if you question the narrative, and there's several instances that I could give you, if you question the narrative, uh, you were shut up, you were a conspiracy theorist, you were, an anti-vaxxer, for whatever the case is, and if you question and you say, wait a minute, that's not right, that doesn't work. Prep Rebel said, yep, sheep will still wear their masks. I see it all the time myself. And I don't say a word. I don't. I just let it go, because if they want to be blissfully ignorant, then they can do whatever they want to do. But yeah, I see that all the time too still. And I'm just like, really? So, but to each their own. And if that makes them happy and it gives them peace of mind, then they can do that. And that's perfectly fine by me. I don't care. I really don't. It's what my favorite, all time favorite, especially during the height of the pandemic, is when I would see an individual in their car by themselves, nobody else in the car, and they had their mask on. And I thought, How stupid do you have to be? I mean, realistically, how stupid do you have to be? That's it. And that was just my, you're wearing it on the premise that it's protecting you from other people. Another one that I saw that again, and this one just actually made me sad, was a kid, again, by himself, alone, on his bicycle with a mask on. And I actually did see a guy in a motorcycle, and I thought this was ironic. This was ironic, on a motorcycle with no helmet because some states don't have the helmet law, so you don't have to wear a helmet. But he had a mask on, and I'm like, really? So, but again, like I said, who am I to judge? I'm not judging anybody. I'm not trying to judge anybody. I'm just saying that with something that has been I'm not I got to be, like I said, I got to be careful on here what I say because I don't want to be get a strike, so I have to be careful what I say, but it doesn't it's amazing to me, it's amazing to me. So but yeah, so anyway, so um, but remember that a little piece of cloth, like a bandana, right, piece of cloth, nothing other than and this was my, I'll show you my favorite. This was my favorite. So they would have it on, but they would have it on like this, right, where it's not like tucked in, but it's just, and it wasn't even that high really. It was just like this, and the bottom would be all open and flopping around. But that that's what they would have on, and I'd be like, really? So yeah, fabric, cloth. Like that's oh my God, thank goodness that's gonna help keep out this virus. I don't know. Who am I? I'm just a nurse, that knows what works and what doesn't work. But, heaven forbid that if you say that, then, you're going to be attacked by these wonderful people. Here's a question that I'm for whatever reason, I have a lot of questions tonight. I don't know why, just a lot of questions. What are what are the qualifications to be a fact checker for let's say that is pretty sad. You speak your mind and get a strike. Oh, exactly, exactly. But what is the what like for Facebook? What is the qualifications for being a fact checker? And who? And I love it. One of the congressmen was grilling somebody from Facebook, and you had doctors and nurses saying certain things on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or wherever they were saying it, or YouTube, right? And these are when you have people that are a doctor that's looking at information and they're trying to share information with the public to say, well, wait a minute, maybe we should look at this differently. But you got Joe Pimple Face Charlie, right? Going, oh, wait a minute. Nope, nope, that's not the accepted situation. So we're going to give them a strike. We're going to shut them down and shut them up because they can't say that. Wait, aren't they the ones that we should be listening to realistically? Now, again, let's be clear on something. If you are a scientist, right? Well, so we'll give another good example. You're a scientist, and your job is the weather, the climate, the planet, whatever, right? Your funding is coming from the government, right? Well, so here's your funding. It's all coming from this wonderful government. They're helping you out. Now they come to you and they say, well, listen, this is the information that you're going to put out about what's going on with the planet. Now I'm not saying this happens, and I'm not saying that it doesn't. Okay, I'm just sharing some thoughts. Okay, how do you think that scientist? All right, we'll go with this scenario. The dust particles, because this is just absolutely random. The dust particles from the sunset are affecting X, Y, and Z. So this is what you're going to tell people, and the scientist goes, well, wait a minute, that's really not what that's doing. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. We're funding you, If you want to have this money coming in to support you in what you're doing, this is what we need you to say. How many of those scientists, how many of those experts are going to say, yeah, no, they're wrong, right? They're not going to, because they want to keep that money coming in. They want to keep that lifestyle that they're living going on. They're going to do as they're told. So, here's a weird concept, okay? And so I like I said, I like to look at history because history has a tendency to repeat itself, which I think is interesting, okay? Um, yeah, follow the science. It's for sale. I like that. Here's an interesting thought. The planet has gone through cycles for millions of years. They've proven that the planet has gone through periods of very warm periods, and the planet has gone through periods of very cold periods. We had the little ice age, what, 400 years ago, right? They had a period of time. Europe got really cold. A lot of people starved. A lot of bad things happened and stuff like that, right? So that was an actual period of time that happened. Well, what caused that? What caused that? Wasn't there not enough cows to fart to make enough methane so that it warmed things up? Manipulation in a narrative that is presented to you is going to be whatever it's going to be. Now, you have a choice to either believe it or not believe it. But the planet goes through cycles, the sun goes through cycles, and that's a fact. That's a fact. You can't dispute that. The Great Lakes, right? The Finger Lakes up in New York State were created when the glaciers receded. Well, why aren't the glaciers there now, right? The glaciers haven't been there in a long, long time, long time. And we have the Great Lakes and we have the Finger Lakes and all that type of stuff. And it's been proven that the ice was quite a ways down into the United States at one point in time. It is not now. Now we have our winters and it gets cold and the weather will suck in certain parts of the country worse than other parts, and we know that as well. And even winters go through cycles. Some winters are going to be, you're going to get like what we had this year. We had a milder winter. But I can remember not that long ago where we had some winters that truly sucked and we got a ton of snow and we got a lot. We had a period, I remember when I was up in New York, and I can't remember if it was our third or fourth year at the homestead. And we had gotten, might have been our third year, I think, because we had gotten, the plumber had come in, set up the plumbing from the well and got us all set up, and we finally had running water, so we were able to take showers and stuff like that. And what ended up happening was that particular winter, we went through a stretch where the daytime high temperatures were, like -1, -2 degrees. That was the high temperature in a day. And at night, it was going down to like -12 to -15. And it was like a 2 week stretch where it was bitterly, bitterly cold, right? Because I remember what I did. We never had a burst pipe. Everything was beautiful. Everything worked out great. And so what I did is I actually called my plumber, and I knew he was busier than a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. And I left him a message, and I said, Joel, I just wanted to give you a holler. I wanted to say that, let you know that everything here is working great. I wanted to tell you that I appreciate the work that you did here in making sure that our system, we didn't have a burst pipe, even with this extreme cold weather. I was extremely grateful. He's a fantastic plumber, and takes care of, the stuff like that. And so, that's, if you got the right people doing the right thing, it works out great. But so that happened. We had that, and it was a bad winter, and we had really cold temperatures, and I think we ended up with a lot of snow that winter. Now, last year in New York, and even like down here in West Virginia, I mean, we had this winter, we had maybe 5 inches of snow for the entire winter. And I've talked to a lot of the locals down here, and they're like, that's not normal. That's not a normal winter. Uh, you know, they said, in a normal winter down here, you might get 30 to 40 inches of snow. Well, trust me, when you're used to getting 100 inches of snow a winter or more, uh, 30 to 40, you go, hey, I'll take that in a heartbeat. So, those are things that happen. I mean, the jet stream is going to change. It's going to do different things. So it's going to affect the weather when the jet stream does those type of things. But it's just if you have gold meal flour, there's a recall. I did not see that. Thank you, Okie Forge, for letting everybody know. But anyway, the planet goes through cycles. So if you want to believe whatever you're being fed, because remember, what do they want to do at the end of the day? Let's think about this. What do they want to do at the end of the day? They want to raise your taxes to have a carbon tax, to tax you because they have to save the planet and have to save the world. And you, America, you have to sacrifice. But don't worry, India doesn't have to sacrifice, and China doesn't have to sacrifice. Now, India, just past China, is the most populous or country in the world. So, India's number one, China's now number two. They're the two most populous or countries in the world. Over a billion people, what, 1.4, 1.5 billion people in, like in India, about the same amount in China. They don't have to do squat. They're not part of this whole climate nonsense situation, right? They continue to pollute, build more coal plants, pollute the oceans, and nonstop. And that's perfectly fine. But heaven forbid, you, America, you better be recycling and not have plastic straws that are going up turtles' noses and destroying everything. Yeah, and the rich aren't sacrificing, but the rest of us do. Exactly. The rich never sacrifice. Are you kidding me? They do what they want to do because they have the money to be able to do it. So, again, if you want to believe that, what impact do we have on the planet? Are we polluting the planet like crazy and destroying it that way? Absolutely, yes, we are. Absolutely. I would never contest that in a second. Look what we're doing to our own oceans. We're killing the oceans. We're killing them. Fukushima, right? Nobody talks about Fukushima anymore, but there's still radioactive water being put into the ocean because of Fukushima. There's nothing they can do about it. They've tried doing different things, and they're trying to do these different things, but it's still polluting the ocean. But you don't hear about that. Why wouldn't that, something like that, when so many people get so much of their food out of the ocean, why wouldn't that be at like the top of the priority list, right? Why would that not be at the top of the priority list? That's just me. That's just a question that I have. I don't know. I don't know the answers, guys. I don't know the answers. But I do believe, again, question absolutely everything. What are we at? 656 in the chat, guys. We're at 309 on the thumbs up. Again, please shoot that thumbs up to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that. It really makes a huge difference with the algorithms as well. Pushes us higher up in the rankings. Some comments, thumbs up, thumbs down. Also, again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure that you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you for doing that ahead of time as well. So, well, they keep talking about, let's go back. Let's look at some stuff. Who remembers that the ozone layer, right? Oh my God, the ozone layer. There's a big hole in the ozone layer. We got to stop using aerosols. It's killing the planet. It's destroying us. We're going to all get burned up by radiation. Who remembers that, right? All of a sudden, now that's gone, right? Remember acid rain? Acid rain was going to destroy everything. And oh my God, the ice caps were all going to be melted by a certain point in time, which is already passed, And that hasn't happened yet, right? So all these scare tactics that they've used, have any of them come true? Have any of them come true, right? But oh my God, it's the end of the world, and we're destroying the planet for our children. So yeah, I blame Aquanet. Exactly. Yeah, I never killed the volume on this. Look at me being a slacker tonight. All right, there we go. So, but yeah, guys, it's just there's a constant stuff going on over. Oh yeah, so well, it's not quite done. We're almost there. We got 12 seconds, Dawn. Take it easy. Egg count's coming, I promise. Oh my God. No, it was just a notification. No, mom would call. So the phone would start ringing. She'd be like, I thought it was over at 9. When I do 9:20 since who knows when. So yeah, I don't do any hairspray anymore. I try to avoid it. All right, so we're doing another giveaway tonight. This is RE Gold, the Pocket Guide to Finding Silver, 925 Thrift. Whoever gets the egg count right tonight is going to win this book. Look at how I'm strategically holding it so you can see the full name. Look at that, like almost like a model. I know what I'm doing. Hold on, I'm gonna do it this. So anyway, um, how many eggs today? And yes or no for Mrs. Thickneck. So go ahead and get your guesses in, guys. All right, give you guys a moment. I'm in a weird mood tonight. Lots of questions, not a lot of answers, but a lot of questions. Too funny. Yeah, Prepper Zipper One just said we can always do better for ourselves and our planet, and I do agree with that. I do agree with that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that right after the egg count here. All right, guys, if you have the same exact guess as Tina Rogers with 9 eggs today, and yes for Miss Thickneck, then you are 100% correct. So, congratulations, Tina. You have won this book by R.E. Gold. Shoot me an email at preppernurse1 at yahoo.com, and I will try to get that out as soon as you can, or as soon as I can. So, so congratulations, Tina. All right. So talking about doing better for the planet, okay? And what amazes me is this, okay? We always got money for war. We always got money to give out hand over fist to other countries, like exactly what we're doing with Ukraine right now. Lots of money going over there, a lot of money going over there. And you know, why are we not when we have people in the United States that are starving, right? We have people here in our own country that are starving. There should be nobody starving in America. Nobody should be no kid should be going to bed hungry. It should not be happening here. It shouldn't be. There's no excuse for it. We have enough land, we have enough technology that we could grow unbelievable amounts of food. Unbelievable amounts of food. You don't have to grow out, you can grow vertically. There's all kinds of technology out there to increase yields, to take care of the things that we need to take care of. But we don't do that. We don't put the money into those things. We don't take the money, we put band aids on problems. We don't take care of things. Uh, One of the biggest problems that we have, with these different things is, you know, mental health issues. A lot of the problems, like you talk about homeless vets, right? You talk about a lot of people on the streets, the drug addicts, and all that type of stuff. The addiction is a secondary aspect of what's going on. The addiction comes from trying to mask what the problem is, right? So they get high so they don't have to deal, which ends up adding to their problems, not helping their problems. If we could focus on the mental health issues that we have in this country, we would be much, much better off. There's a lot of people that need help that don't get any help, which is kind of sad, you know, and it's just, they just turn a blind eye to that. You look at what they did with the asylums, guys, as we like to call them, the nervous hospital that's from Sling Blade. He was in the nervous hospital. Uh, you know, how many of them have been closed down and all those people were put back out on the streets? Were they miraculously all healed? Were they miraculously all better? No. Now they got nobody monitoring them, making sure that they're safe, making sure that they're taking their medications. And so you have a lot of, uh, and they are now in prisons. A lot of them are. Yeah, Don. Yeah. So now the prison's got to deal with that. You're right. Yeah. So they go out there, they commit the crimes, and now they get put in a prison, and they're not in a situation where they can, get the help that they want, and those type of things. But yeah, and you look at the prison closures. Absolutely right, ADK man. There was a prison down by where I lived in New York. It was a pretty good sized prison too. There was a prison on one side and then another prison on the other side of the street. Well, the one side they completely closed that whole thing down, and there's this huge prison sitting there empty. All kinds of barbed wire still up. The barracks are all still there. It's huge. It's huge, and nobody's in there anymore. And they've done those cuts as well. You know, the system in New York is such insanity. With the whole catch and release and all that type of stuff. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, it's just a lot of places. In prisons, guys. What the sad thing about the prisons is that you know big business, a lot of money in the prisons because they don't have to pay these people hardly squat, and they're getting all kinds of money. So it's a huge enterprise to keep people in the prisons, not to try to work on rehabilitation and getting them out and making them better, back to being productive members of society. The reincarceration rate is absolutely deplorable. It's deplorable. So, but yeah, it's nuts. The whole situation is nuts. But yeah, it just a lot of crazy stuff goes on. A lot of crazy stuff goes on, and it just continues. And it's like, why are certain people prosecuted for crimes, alleged crimes? Let me just rephrase that: alleged crimes, while other ones who burn down cities, attack people, that try to kill, burn, federal buildings, going after the police and attacking the police, and those people, you know, get let out if they get arrested. You know, it's insanity to me. And then heaven forbid that Joe Average Citizen says, "I've had enough of this crap." All right, let's talk about this. I want you to think about this. So we're going to go back to the riots. If you want to go with, let's go back to the '60s with the riots, the Watts riots, and all that type of stuff. Okay, back into the '60s. You know why the police put up barricades? You know why the police put up the barricades and blocked areas off? Do you think they were doing it for safety? Do you think they did it for safety? Riots in Detroit, same thing, Don. Yeah, they blocked off the streets. So if you were coming from out of town, you couldn't go into those areas, right? So why do you think they did that? So here's a thought. Here's a thought. Just something to think about. Were they trying to contain the area? No, see, Okie Ford should contain the rioters. Come on now. Come on, Okie Ford. Let's think a little bit. Let's think a little bit. That would be what they would want you to believe. That's what they would want you to believe. But could those barricades actually have been put up so that the people in the rural country areas or the people in suburbia said, "Screw this crap, I'm going in there and we're going to put this riot to an end," right? What about that? What about that? Do you think that there might have been a possibility? There might have been a possibility of not letting these people come in and squash that riot? Why would the police just put up a barricade and just let them burn and loot and destroy everything? That doesn't make any sense, does it? And the worst part is, and I want you to think about this, where is the area that is destroyed? Where's the area that's destroyed? It's where they live. So they destroy all the area of where they live, and then they wonder why. They wonder why that nobody will come in and rebuild there. Think about that. Just a thought. I'm not saying that that was the case. They could have been to contain, as Okie Forge said. It could have been to contain. But I have the rooftop Koreans. Yeah, they didn't take no crap. They were up there shooting people. I'll bet they didn't get prosecuted either, did they? Here's a thought too. I want you to think about this. Now, I lived in Rochester, New York for many years. Okay, lived right in the city, and what you saw in the city, it's Wegmans. Wegmans is a huge grocery chain. Anybody that has been to Wegmans, they love Wegmans. They think Wegmans is great, and it's a great store to be in, right? Well, they started out in Buffalo, and then they came to Rochester, and then they ended up going, they're all over the place up there, and they've been working their way south. I mean, they're in New Jersey, they're in Maryland. I think they're now in North Carolina as well. Okay, so it's a huge, huge company. But one of the things that Wegmans did, they closed all their stores except for, well, there's one, but that's not in the city. They've closed all their stores except for Lake Avenue. Lake Avenue, where that store is more, it's more of a yuppie area. But even there, it's high security. They got high security in that area. But they've closed so many of these different stores that they had in the city of Rochester. And they just said, well, we're downsizing, we're focusing on these other stores. No, what they did is because of the theft and the crime in the area of the city of where these Wegmans were, they were not making money because so many people were stealing. Okay. So they closed them down, and they went out into suburbia, and they put these big, huge, beautiful Wegmans out in, more of the rural areas or suburbia areas because it was going to be less crime, but they have to justify why they're doing it. They can't say, well, we're closing them because all the scumbags are stealing everything. It's not nailed down. We don't have enough security to cover everything. They can't say that because then, they're going to be accused of everything under the sun if they say something like that. But they did. They closed every one of those stores, inner city stores, got them right out of there. And, Chicago closed 3 Walmarts. Yeah, we had a Sam's Club. Oh, so here's the we had a Sam's Club was also pretty big. We had a Sam's Club in Henrietta, and we had one also in Greece, New York. Okay, suburbia areas, nice areas, and these Sam's Clubs were always busy. I mean, I'd been to both of them multiple times, and they were always busy. They were never like, it wasn't like, oh, well, the traffic's down, we're not getting as many people. They were always, always busy. And they closed those stores down. And I thought, what's up with that? Why are they doing that? Why would you close a store that is hugely, hugely profitable? Because when they're busy, I mean, I don't care when you went, there was always a crowd in those stores. And they got rid of them, they closed them down. So I don't know what that's about either. I really don't. And they were saying, "Oh, well, we had to downsize and not stores that aren't profitable." Both of those ones that I know that they closed in Henrietta, New York, and in Greece, New York, were hugely, hugely profitable. So, yes, so I don't know what the whole thing is with that is. I went through the City of Rochester Fire Academy in 1990. We were warned not to go out at night. Oh, I believe it. I believe it. It's they were okay. There was a big thing, and let's talk about this: the revitalization of downtown. So they were talking at one point in time that they were going to put a casino in downtown Rochester. None of it ever happened. You are not going to get people from suburbia out in those areas to come into the city uh, unless it's certain areas that are fairly safe. But there was a lot of areas in the city of Rochester that you just didn't go into. You didn't go into. I was taking care of a young boy, had some issues, and middle of the day, the family that I was taking care of, their son, the father, the cops were like crazy down the street. Middle of the day, folks, drug deal goes bad. 2 people ended up dead, and it was literally 2 blocks from where I was at. You know, that type of stuff doesn't generally happen in suburbia. So when you have those type of things happen, people don't want to go to those areas. You know, when you see the druggies walking down the street and sleeping on the sidewalk, and people are uncomfortable. It makes them uncomfortable, so they don't want to be there. So that's why they stay away, and they wonder why. You know, they wonder why this didn't work out or that didn't work out. So they wanted to pass a casino for Flint, and it never passed. Who wants to go there to gamble? Not me. Exactly, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point. And Ed, when will you get honey from your bees? Okay, B, that. Thank you very much for the question. Most likely not this year. Best case scenario, I might get a little bit of honey this year. Probably not though. Right now, they're in the stages of building the hive, basically. So we got the first box going. I'm obviously going to continue to monitor that. Once that box gets more full, I'll put the second box on. Then they got to fill up that box, which will take another 2 to 3 weeks. Once that second box is full, then the third box is a honey box. That box is going to be strictly for them. Okay, strictly for them. So once they get that one filled up, a fourth box would be what I get. Okay, so I would have to watch that. So most likely this year I won't get any honey. You have to let them get established and built up and stuff like that. So with that happening, that would be, that's what we're trying to get established right now with that. So once they get that done, then next year I should get quite a bit of honey because the hive is established. It'd be just a matter of staying on top of stuff, and so we'll go from there. I do eventually. I would like to have 6, maybe 7 hives altogether. I think that would be a good number. So maybe next year, make half boxes easier to lift versus a bigger box. Cut the box in half and add a board. Yeah, there's the higher boxes will be smaller. Yeah, the higher boxes will be smaller. So the first 2 boxes are the deep boxes, and that's where the queen will be between those 2 boxes. And yeah, and then also yes, also wax as well. So yeah, it's just we're just gonna have to we'll wait and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to get some this year. I'll tell you a little bit. I don't want to shortchange the bees, but I definitely would like to hopefully get a little bit of honey this year. And I'd like to maybe next year add 2 more hives, and then that way we can start building up that and kind of go from there. So we'll see what happens. A lot of first year beekeepers, their bees don't make it. I'm hoping that they do, and I'm gonna let you know, good, bad, or indifferent, what happens with our bees, and we will go from there. What kind of care do the bees require in the winter? If they have their honey and their hive is established, none really. You might have to give them some sugar water, here and there, but it's just a matter of checking on them, making sure that they're good, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so it's been fun. I like I said, I enjoy it. I was showing Steve today. I said, okay, this is how it's done. Because when I do go to New York, he's going to have to feed the bees, so he's got to know what he's doing. So anyway, we got to do shout outs, guys. We're behind schedule here. Imagine that. I know it's shocking. What are we still at 545 in the chat? We're at 377 on the thumbs up. I'm going to ask you once again, please, to shoot a thumbs up to show support for the channel, and I thank you for that ahead of time. Also, again, it really does make a huge difference with the algorithms, so I thank you for that reason as well. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. All right, so let me get a drink, and then we will get started. All right, we have Icky Can up in Canada. Good guy, living off grid up there, showing you how to do it and stuff. Really, really laid back. You have Angry Prepper, and that is Jason down in New York City. There is Alaska Prepper, and that's Rudy up in Alaska. There is also Alaska Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance, 2 different channels, same guy, building his homestead up in Canada as well. Really cool to watch him build. He's an amazing builder. There is Demcat. I like Demcat a lot as well. He used to live in Detroit and he moved away. I think he's in Kentucky now, if I'm not mistaken. Also, you have Corporal's Corner. There's Bjorn Hansen. You have 80K Man up in the Adirondacks. There is Bizariza Jizza who does the Carrington Chronicles. You have Marfugal News. That's Adam and Dax out on the West Coast in Seattle. Real good channel out there. A lot of good information. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. There is Wranglestar, and that's Cody. A lot of good information on his channel. Really good guy. Great information. Just, he does a lot of the shorts too, which is also good. Let's see, where am I? Red Poppy Ranch. We have Survival Lily. There's Kyle's Cabin with Kyle and Sierra up in Minnesota. Nice young couple up there doing their thing. Definitely go and show them some support as well. There is Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods. Husband wife team, two different channels. A lot of good information with their channels as well. A lot of hard work. They do a lot of hard work. There is Green Greg's. Really good information with gardening, so definitely check him out as well. You have Southern Prepper One, who does the Boots on the Ground series. A lot of really good information with his channel as well, so definitely check him out. There is Gray Man Prepping. You have St. Bernard Acres with Joe. There is Doug and Stacy. They've been around a long time. Really good people. A lot of good information on their channel as well. You have the Nomadic Movement. They're down in Panama. Nice young couple down there doing Lola's Farm, is what they call it. There is the Green Dream Project. They are out in Arizona, showing you how to live in the desert and do that out there. There is Camping with Steve Wallace. Does stealth camping. There's Bush Doctor Survival. There is Monkey Works. You have the Needy Homesteader. She's been around a long time. A lot of good information with canning and preserving food. You have Boss of the Swamp. Great builder as well. Been around a long time. A lot of good information with that. You have Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Anything you want to know about the Grand Solar Minimum and any of that type of information, that's where you want to go. Really smart guy. Definitely check him out. You have Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. There is City Prepper. You have Lumina Acres. There is Suspicious Observer. A lot of good information with him, what's going on in space and everything like that. There is Bear Independent. You have the Uneducated Economist. There is Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands of La Palma. A real good guy out there. When the volcano was going, he gave information twice a day. He was doing it. You have Mary Greeley News, giving you all the latest updates on earthquakes, what's going on with Yellowstone, and all that type of stuff as well. There is Adapt 2030. You have Malachi's Corner. There is Ice Age Farmer. If you're going to get your weather, there's only one guy you should be getting your weather from, and that is Ryan Hall Y'all. Ryan Hall's a good guy, really passionate about the weather. Plus, he really gives back big time to the community, and I truly respect that. There is Russell Brand. I like Russell Brand as well. He gives you the information, and he lets you decide what you want to do with it. So, again, your choice, what you want to do with it. If you can take it or leave it, it's up to you. You have Deep South Homestead. Another good channel, a lot of good information on their channel. There is The Outsider. You have The Fit Farmer. There is Prep Rebel. Simple Life Reclaimed. There is Townsend's. A lot of good information on that channel. All about the frontier stuff and how they did it and stuff like that. Really good information with that. The Prepared Mind. You have Pinball Preparedness. He is down in Tennessee. Another really good guy. There is East Tennessee Preparedness. You have the Economic Ninja. And last but not least, Little House Off Gritty. Nice young couple. They are also in Tennessee. A lot of good information out there, guys. I'm sure you have other ones that you like that you put in the chat, which is fine. I think, again, we should be supporting each other. I think it's important that we support each other. And that's why I like to do the shout outs. Again, a lot of these people have no idea who I am. And that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I think, again, that we should be supporting each other and trying to help each other out. I think it's important to get your information from many different sources, because everybody has a different viewpoint, and that's okay. Doesn't make them right, me wrong, me right, them wrong. It's just looking at things from a different viewpoint, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So, my Adirondack adventure started last weekend, so new videos coming out in May. Okay, so 80K Man's going to have new videos coming out in May, guys. So definitely check that out. All right, so anyway, again, we're a small niche group of people. We're the ones that are awake. So, I think it's important, again, that, instead of fighting, saying bad things about each other, we should be supporting each other. So, 2 years of food is enough or too much? I don't think 2 years of food is too much. I don't think that's too much at all, Luke. I actually have more than 2 years worth of food. Because I'll give you an example, Luke. Okay, real good example, real easy example. Let's say you have 2 years worth of food for 8 people. Those are the 8 people that you said, yes, I'm responsible for these 8 people, so I have 2 years worth of food for 8 people. Now all of a sudden, 8 more people show up, and you feel obligated for whatever reason that you need to take care of them and watch out for them. Now your 2 years worth of food supply is down to 1 year's worth of food supply. So that's why you need to make sure that you continue to add more. Make sure that you have plenty of food available. I think that that's really, really important because there's, in my opinion, there's no such thing as too much. So, and if people want to call you a hoarder or whatever else, that's whatever. Who cares? You know, it gives you an opportunity. Also, the more you have, to be able to be in a position to help other people's. Okay, I have 2 years of food for me and my parents and my brother. Well, there you go. So you got enough for 4 people then. So, the more you can keep adding to that, I would continue to add to it until you can't anymore. And when we can't anymore, that will be because SHTF has happened. That's the only reason that you would stop. Make sure, along with prepping food, make sure you have, seeds. Make sure you have a diverse amount of seeds. Also, make sure that you have the tools to be able to garden if there's not electric tools to use, like hoes and rakes and all that type of stuff. Really just, you know, continue to work your soil. I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to gardening is really not that hard, okay? It really isn't. But 90% of gardening is the soil. If you have good soil and you continue to work on that soil and continue to make it better, it's going to make everything else just work so much better. You're going to get bigger yields, better production. Make sure you're rotating your crops. Don't keep growing the same crops in the same spot every year because you're going to kill the nutrients in that soil. You have to mix and match. You got to mix them up into different plots. So that would be my advice with that too. Again, and I've said this before, and this is important, okay? When we get into a true SHTF situation, we will not be hunters. There will be nothing left to hunt because everybody will be in the woods in the first 6 months of a true SHTF event, killing everything in the woods. Okay, we are going to be growers and gatherers. Know your wild edibles, know your medicinal plants. Get that information down, even if you just get the books and you're sitting on the books and you have them for that time, because you're going to need that. You're going to need that at that point in time. Okay, so let's do this. We are Legion. Keep adding to your soil every year. Absolutely, Delbert. Absolutely. Um, we are Legion. We are many. Where's everybody from tonight? And first but not foremost is Philip from Melbourne, Australia. Philip is in the house. We have Nate in New Mexico, Franklin County, Ohio, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We have Nowhere, Oklahoma, Inverness, Florida with Clyde in the house, Pipestem, West Virginia with Troy, BC, Canada with Janet. We have London in the house with Tony, Ontario, Canada with Dave, Georgia with Luke, Syracuse, New York with Steve. Quebec, Canada with Luke. East Central Pennsylvania. Fort Worth, Texas. Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Lancaster, Pennsylvania with Debbie. Pennsylvania once again with Fortune Cookie. Central Wisconsin. Troutman, North Carolina with Troy. Greenlee County, Arizona with Codster. BC, Canada with 19 Homes. Waterloo, New York with Sharon. San Antonio, Texas with Heather. Uh, ALR in Romney, West Virginia. We have New Hampshire in the house. Valparaiso, Indiana. Michigan, the UP of Michigan with Dawn. Bay of Islands, Newfoundland, Canada with Mar. New York City with Spirit Wolf. We have New Hampshire in the house with B. Millennia, the Philippines with Vic. Glad to have you here. If I said that first part wrong, I apologize. Clearfield, Pennsylvania. Western New York with Karen. Central Florida with Elaine. The UP of Michigan with Jesse. We have Wyoming in the house with Mary. Port Jarvis, New York. Morning Light in West Virginia. South Carolina's in the house with Gail. Ulster Park, New York with Francine. Tucson, Arizona with Angela. Dinwaddle, Virginia. Mr. Black Cat. Dallas, Wisconsin with Ultra Mega Man. Let's see. Martinsville, Indiana with Chris. No Place, Vancouver Island. There you go. Topeka, Kansas with Bad Boy. Kansas City, Missouri with Blue Knight 75. Timmins, Canada with JJLS. Vermont in the Sticks with John. So again, guys, we're all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge, huge network of people. We're the ones that truly can make a difference. We can make a difference now. We can make a difference after an event as well. The way we help now is try to wake people up, try to educate people, and hopefully we do that. After an event, the way that we help people is by educating them, teaching them how to help themselves, and doing as much as we can to help out. You can't save everybody, and so that's something that you have to think about as well. So that's important as well. All right, so I want to once again, you know, continue to prep, don't stop, continue to get ready. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. There's nothing that we're going to be able to do or make a difference to make it stop. So, and I don't say that it's going to be this event, that event, or the other event. The most likely scenario, and I've said this one before, would be a grid down situation. If that happens, it's going to get really ugly, really, really fast. So the better off you are, the more prepared you are, the better that you will be. Okay, so think about that. All right, so anyway, guys, I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. Ladies and gentlemen that moderate for me, I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much for what you do. Also, I want to thank all you guys. Only one troll tonight. Wow, that's good, JJ. Maybe they're getting the point. I doubt it, but that would be nice. I want to thank all you guys for being here as well. It means a lot to me. Appreciate the support. It's a lot of fun doing these chats. Hopefully you learn something. I definitely, I pick up things in the comments. People make suggestions, and it's all very helpful, and I appreciate it. So you guys are awesome, and like I said, thank you all for being here. You know, remember, guys, we truly are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. If we could ever come together and learn to be human beings and not let them continue to divide us, they use race, they use religion, they use political affiliation. All those things mean nothing at the end of the day. They don't mean anything. It's ridiculous that we let people manipulate us in that way to fight amongst each other and never come together. If we ever come together, then the powers that be would really be scared. They really would be, because they would be like, holy crap, these people are organized or squared away and they have demands, right? Like, let's take care of people. Let's treat people the way we want to be treated, regardless of where they come from and who they are. You know, but anyway, that's a dream. That's a dream, believe me. Remember also, folks, hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every single day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish, it doesn't have to be about prepping, it doesn't have to be about living off grid. It's about whatever goals, aspirations, dreams that you have. If you work methodically, setting realistic goals that you can achieve those goals, then you check them off your list and you move on to the next thing. And that's as simple as that. And if you work on that, you stay away from negative people telling you what you cannot accomplish, you're going to be just fine. Stay away from negative people. They just want to bring you down because they're miserable. And misery loves company. Who's not heard that one? I choose to be with positive people. People are going to lift me up and support me. And we have common interests, common goals, and that's what it's about. So anyway, guys, listen, be safe. Keep prepping. Don't give up. Don't become despondent. I know there's a lot of distractions out there, but just keep doing what you do. Okay. Have a good night, and I will talk to you all later. Prepper Nurse One out for now.